Hi guys, welcome back to part 3 of the 1930s, 40s, and 50s vintage journal that we're making right now. And today we're going to do textiles and some photographs that are coming from digitals that are reflective of the time that this journal is covering. So let me start my timer and let's get going. So I have a little pile here. I think what I'll do is I have a whole thing of hankies. I'll put those to the side for the moment. And let's start with this. Okay. So I happened to find this in one of my containers that has really old things. So this is seam binding. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that a really, really, really pretty color? Sort of a very, very light olive gold in this color. It's very cloudy out today and hot and humid. We're going to have a rainstorm, I'm sure of it. So it looks like a mild olive to me, but it could be a dark beige. Leanne, that's not a name I see for sale anymore. So what I thought was that I could take these seam binding out and use this container as, I don't know, set it up as something, but it's indicative of, I don't know, let's say somewhere in there, maybe the 40s or 50s, right? It's cool. Looks good to me. This is called blue work, and it's the same idea as red work. And women would buy patterns that were transferable. You know, we've got a lot of those. Transfer papers. I have these in the 30s. This is a raised area where the blue is. And then you press on the back, and the blue ends up getting transferred to the white. And then from there, they would have their pattern, and they would be able to use a stitch on top to form that. So I love this. So sweet. Strawberries. I live really close to the strawberry capital of the U.S. So I thought that'd be cool. It's on an old quilt, probably like 1930s quilt. So I'm going to put it in the 30s pile. This is feed sack. This is grain. There was grain in here, rice, flour. They didn't make these pretty ones for cows. But this is the real deal. It's very, very fine. Not fine. It's very coarse. It doesn't feel coarse, but the threads, the individual threads for the warp and weft are very thick. So that makes it coarse. And so it was never meant for dress or wearing. But then, during the Depression in the 30s in America, people, were getting their fabric from wherever they could. And so they started to use the feed sacks to make dresses, especially for their kids. And so when the people who had made flour sacks and rice sacks and all else that came in sacks, sugar, they started to make them in really pretty designs. And I love, 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 love this one. It's in pieces, so I'll just put it in pieces throughout my journal in the 30s. Could glue it on the back as one of the, collaged pages, or I could have it loosely, or I might staple it to one of my transfer patterns. I don't know, but I think it'll be fun. So there we go. This is a handkerchief, and truthfully, I think it was handmade, given the back. Very sweet. So this little blue flower was appliqued on, and the pink flowers were appliqued, and so is the green. Not appliqued, stitched. And then they bought the hanky to look that way. Drawn work, but I suppose they could have done it, but they were pretty common. Drawn work to buy that in a hanky. like a man's hanky, and then they made it look much more feminine. So I think I'm going to use these as probably a triangle pocket. I've seen some people use these to go across the bottom of a page. I think my pages are going to be pretty big. I don't know if maybe one could fit across the whole thing. I think last time we talked about them being like 9 by 6.5 or something like that. But anyway, I want to use this because I like it so much. I think it's really pretty. I'm going to put it in the 40s so that we have so things are spread around. This is a piece of canvas, and obviously I've been using it, so I don't know what I'll be using it for, but this is the coloring I've added to it. It was white, and I think it'll be handy. These as well. These could be attached to the top of something as a tag. I don't know, because this is going to be a really different kind of journal than I've made. So I'm going to put it in the 40s because it's kind of dirty looking, and that makes me think of the war. This is something I think my mom made, and so it's applique tomatoes on the vine. My mom did needlepoint and things like that. I have her things all around, but I wasn't around when she was doing embroidery. So this was early in her life, and this is a dish towel material. Again, another loose weave, coarser cotton. And I just love it. And so I'm not going to cut it up. I'm not going to cover it up. I'm going to use it in some way. And I'm going to put it in the 40s. This came on something, and I just love it. Better Homes and Gardens. You know what, though? I think I'm going to spray it with coffee or something because it's just a little too white. I'll put it in 50s. I've got my little boxes over here, or I've got a 30s with some 20s, a 40s and a 50s box, and I'm just tossing things in. Now this is a pansy material. This is not old. This is 2000s, and I just love it. I love it. It's a quilter's cotton. These individual pansies would be cool, cut out. Look at the little dots in the background. I mean, it is gorgeous. But what do you do with a fabric like this? I mean, come on, it's a lot. So, using it in bits, I think will be good. And I'm going to put it in the 40s because the 40s liked the more bold colors, and the 20s the 30s like the pastels. This is a sugar sack, the real deal. Sea Island sugar, 10 pounds, pure grain granulated, and very obviously used. And I bought it just like this. So I am going to probably use it as a background, make it a page. And I'm going to make it 30s. This is a inner batting for a quilt. Very thick wool batting. And I'm going to use it for 30s. This is a dimity. And dimity's been around since a really, really long time. This has age marks on it. You see the yellowing in here? Those are just from being around. Somehow rust or something got on it. I don't know, but it's thick, and I'm sure some people used it for toweling. It's got like a little pattern on it. Anyway, with all this rust and stuff like that, it just looks like a 30s, 40s kind of a thing. So I have so much of it that I will probably use it in both. Could be a pocket, could be a backdrop, could be, that I lay a thin fabric on. These are very heavily coffee dyed eyelet. This is a piece of crochet. It looks like a eyes to me and a nose and feelers kind of thing, and another really heavy coffee dyed thing. So I think I can use those anywhere. I have a whole section of pieces of bags, pieces of envelopes, old envelopes that the backs would be cool for a pocket. I showed them to you last time, so I'm going to stick it in there because they're of the ilk that could be used with any decade. This is a grass cloth, and so is this. They were wallpapers. I have, oh my gosh, 75, 80 different colors, and so I want to use them. They're really heavy duty. They're beautiful pieces of paper, and so they're going to go in my area where they could be any decade. This is a 1950s napkin. I got it from my girlfriend. I just love it. It's just so 50s. They use the mustard yellow and the burgundy red and the black and everything, is set up. It just sings songs. 50s. So I don't know how I'll use it because it's pretty big, but maybe it can go across a couple pages. I don't want to cut, disrupt that wonderful bowl. But this is the cocktail party right here in front of your face. So love that. This is a newer piece, again, a decade ago or more, but it's a woven quilter's fabric. So you've got this side and this side, and they're the opposite of each other. And I just love the color, this mint green and stripes. So I'm going to put this in the 40s and 30s. It could be also, because I just love it. I just think it's a beautiful fabric. I have it in red and in this mint green, which really is more of a 30s. And this is another flour sack. Actually, I have a lot more flour sacks. I sold a bunch, but I do have more than these. So this I would put in the 40s flour sacks. And because of the pink, I don't really like it very well, but I'll use it in a small way. It's hard to get away from that pink. I like the burgundy and the green and the blue. Let's see. Oh, there you go. So that's doable. Yeah, it's very stark, isn't it? The colors on the white. It's stark. So anyway, I'll put it in the 40s, who knows. This is a piece of trim that I've coffee dyed. It's actually, these threads are actually sewn in. It's two-dimensional, and then the background is another type of dimity. It's a herringbone. It's a raised woven. I don't think you can tell, but I love it, and it was a white, and so I dipped it, and it could be tags, could be who knows? I have a bunch more that's white, so I could conceivably coffee dye more. I showed this to you in the last end part of the last video, part 2. This is a placemat, all done by hand. All of it. Stunning. The center is a tree bark. It's some sort of a plant material, cellulose, some kind of plant. Could be linen, super stiffened. That's a plant. But it is so beautiful. And here was a napkin that goes with it that was washed. So the color completely changed. And the look of it. I mean, just the whole feel. Plus it's see-through. Whereas the napkin that wasn't washed is not see-through. Well, there you go, a little bit. So I don't know who would ever use this, because once you get a stain on it, you're stuck having to wash it. And if you wash it to remove the stain, you're just going to have a blotch. So gorgeous work, but completely useless. So anyway, I was thinking it might make a cool cover. It's going to split right there. I can feel it. So the cover would have to be, let me grab this. I have a toilet paper. Yeah. So it could be a cover as long as the signature was wide enough that it didn't split. Wouldn't that be a beautiful, beautiful cover? I have 6. So, but this is a 30s feel, so I really wouldn't want to do each signature in the same, era. I want it to represent the era that it is. So, I don't know, but that's my thought because I love it. I've had them for ages, and I really don't want to not use it. I want to make it work. So that's my plan. Possibly signature cover. Possibly the whole cover. I don't know. And this is a very faded. Oh, look. This side is in much better shape. So somebody had this out because these are really cute embroidery flowers. Really, really sweet. But they're so faded. Look at those roses. They're quite three-dimensional. That one's a little less faded. So pretty. Oh, this had to be gorgeous when it was all the colors it was supposed to be. Yeah, I love it. So the colors really are better on the bottom. I like this edging, which is tatting. I like the drawn work in the corner there. It's a very nice cotton. Very pretty. So anyway, I'm going to cut it up. And it's 30s. And this I've been saving for a really long time. This is very 40s with the fanned edge, the coloring, the whole thing. It's really, damaged. So I will use it in whatever way makes sense. Golden color, kind of a beige. So I'm going to make it 40s because of this. Could be 20s. Could be 20s with the fan. But I don't want to have everything in the 30s pile if I'm not sure. So I think I'm going to make this 40s. And then this, well, I'm going to use muslins. Of course, this one I tea-dyed, coffee-dyed. But, have on hand muslins that you've aged in whatever way you want. Because anytime something's going to split, you can put the muslin on, and that will help. And they just work. They just work well with whatever. This is the vase design. So 20s, so 30s, even 40s. It just works. See that? See that vase? And the big handle up there. So cute. Scallop edge. Yeah, I had a plant on this for a long time. I was using it. And it got wrecked. So it's splitting, it's tearing, it's done. Its little life as a table cover is over. It's big. It's 4 times this size. Plenty big. So I am going to use it as best as I can because I really adore this. And I wanted to show you this. It's from the Royal Society in the UK for embroidery floss from H.E. Varan Company, Stamford, Connecticut. Okay. Well, so much for that British idea. I mean, here they have Royal Society. It had to have started there, and they're making it here. Let's see what it says. Copyright 1927, Stamford, Connecticut, printed in the U.S., Hey, somebody that's watching from England, let me know if you know. Was this originally from you guys? But anyway, aren't these cool? Isn't this wonderful, seeing all those different colors? So satin strand and monocell. So they're calling the pastels monocell. And then these are more bold, I would say. Oh, and these are rayon, and these are cotton. Sweet. Let's see what it says. These are from the Royal Society Art Needlework. Huh. So it's embroidery and crochet. Huh. It's funny that in 1927 they would take on a, UK persona and then be out of Stamford. It's a very wealthy town toward New York City in Connecticut. It just seems odd, but it's sure beautiful. So it's dated, so we know it's 1927. Okay, so the other thing I want to show you, I'll probably have to grab more textiles than that. I just happen to have tossed those out. Oh, the handkerchiefs. Hold on. Let's see. First of all, this was my mom's handkerchief holder. So it's just a simple linen, and the top is shaped to go over it. I mean, easy peasy, right? We can make those. So pretty. So pretty. So, this is a beautiful hanky. Really, this is way older, I think. But this is a very fine linen because you can see through it. See how fine that is? Feels more like silk. I love it. I may use it. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Isn't that cute? I've used that before in a journal, so it's already cut up. But sweet, and it's gray and pink, so I'm going to put it in 40s. This is a beautiful edging, but I don't know, it doesn't really look old to me. And it's all machine, so I'm not going to put that in. This is purple and yellow with quite the edging. Can you tell it's purple? The light is so bright. Hold on. Look how purple that is. It's not pink. It's purple. Anyway, I want to use it because I think it's unique. So purple would usually be 30s. I mean, there was purple all the time, but that's so bright. You know, that pastel, bright, happy purple. That would be 30s. Okay. This is not made by hand. This is one of those bought hankies. Machine made, I mean. Beautiful. The mint. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty with the scallop. So again, 30s, 40s. This is from the East, what do they call it? Eastern Star. They were the female end of what? The Masons, maybe? Anyway, it's a female sorority. It's got the crocheted Eastern Star. It's probably my great-grandma's. She came over from Norway because she was an Eastern Star. So that's pretty. So I'll put that in 30s. My aunt made this. So all these shades of pink. Put that in the 50s. This is just a little blue edge. I think I've already cut into it. So it's very plain except for that blue edge. I probably won't use that. This is a mint green. That looks, yeah, that's machine made, so I won't use that. That's machine made. I mean, that's okay, but I'm trying to be really authentic. Another journal will be fine. I love this. I love navy blue and red and yellow. Yeah, this could be 70s even. But it's stitched by hand. It's see-through. And I love it, so I'm going to put it in 50s. Okay, these are a couple of machine made, pretty. This is a see-through blue, totally machine made. Something about it just, I don't know. It's interesting. I just don't like it. I don't know what it is. I don't know. You know, maybe on the right background it could be cool. But it seems modern to me. So I'm not going to include it. And then we have this, which I love, and I have continued to take bits and pieces from. So sweet. It's got the cute little tiny scallopy thing. Hardly any left. So sweet. Really sweet. It's like a little girl thing to me. I like it. I'm going to make it 30s. And then this, yeah, the edging is all hand done. Sweet. A little embroidery in there. Sweet. A little green stitched fabric. They stitched that on by hand. Love it! 30s. Okay. All right, so that's a lot of textiles, right? These are downloads. These are prints I made. I honestly, right at the moment, I do not know who made all of these. I used a variety. You can kind of tell what are sets. Although I think this is a little red papery. Or a little lady papery, a little lady papery. Anyway, the reason I bought this is because this woman was my mother's best friend growing up. They stayed friends till they died. Her name at the time, well, I don't know. I know her as Coke Evans, which is her married name. So Colleen Williams, I think, was her name. And she was an up-and-coming starlet. Big. She was on the cover of magazines. She was doing a lot of different commercials and different things like that. So you can imagine the shock that I had when I'm going through this kit and I come across her picture with a chicken on her head. I wouldn't want this picture otherwise. I think this is Greta Garbo. She was in Hollywood and she ended up falling in love, you know, as her career was burgeoning, falling in love with a Presbyterian minister. And she decided to give up her career, Hollywood starlet, that's what they called her. And she married Louie Evans, well, a fabulous man. They were both fabulous people. And that was that. So she became a minister's wife, and they did all the things they do, but he did end up running the Bel Air Presbyterian Church, which was the church that President Reagan went to when he lived in Santa Barbara, which is north of me a little bit, just like a half hour. And Bel Air is south of me, about a half hour. traffic's bad longer. And when he went to Washington to be president, the Evans family went too and did preaching there for a while. So I want to include her if nothing else. And then, of course, Doris Day. She was fun as a singer and actress, so I like that. And Shirley Temple, so sweet. Okay. All right, I'm going to give it a little more time. Let's see. Okay, just a little. And so, because these people, their movies were popular, and a lot of us know them, I'm going to put them in there. 50s, obviously. And then this, I think she's a famous actress, although I don't know, and her as well. But this little baby with eating the egg, the chocolate egg, I want to include that. There she is starting to put it in her mouth, and there she is finishing it. Oh my God. So yeah, so I'll use them too. I can do 30s on them. And then look at this little girl like holding I had a pet rabbit. I had a pet rabbit when I was an adult, actually. I really was an adult. And she lived in my downstairs bathroom. And I ended up getting scars because she scratched me. And when I went to do an interview for an internship, the scars were red. And I had jumped down the stairs and made the turn and hit the corner of my exercise bicycle. And I ended up limping into the office and then had these scars on my wrists. So I looked like I was a basket case. And of course, the man that was interviewing me to help other people asked me how I got so banged up, and I just told him flat out, I've got Pet Bunny who got a little excited and scratched me with her paws, and I jumped off the stairs because I was running late for this appointment, and my little toe hooked around the stationary bike, a part of it, and he ended up hiring me, and only 2 of us were picked out of hundreds of applicants. So I was really glad that I had something unique that allowed him to talk to me more about stuff possibly than just straight interview material. And so anyway, these are kids looking in a window. It reminds me of when I was a kid, we'd always go down to Chicago for the Christmas displays at Christmas time, so I'm going to use that. And this little girl holding her bunny, I don't know, but I just thought these were great. Really liked them. These are, again, from a variety of sources. I printed them on photo paper glossy, and I think they mostly came from Graphics Fairy premium site, but each one is just very, like this would be 20s, this would be 20s, so they'd be in my 30s. These are Raindrop Lila. This is her recent patriotic kit. Thank you for putting your name on there. This is like a teacher, like kindergarten, and these are women. Now this is way prior to 1920 because their hair is in the Gibson look, so 1880s, 1890s, so I won't use it unless for some reason I'm going to bring in stuff that old. I really like that picture. This could look like a downtown street. More from Raindrop Lila. 20s car. Again, I love the sewing machine and that woman teaching her little girl about sewing. I love that. This is like the World's Fair, 1930s World's Fair. I could make it up that it's the 30s World's Fair, but it's like a 30s. It's like a World's Fair, and she's dressed just right. So this is a great kit for pictures for this journal. I already showed you that. I think they're in different sizes. More of Lydia's kit. like this building. And their outfits, so it's going to be 50s. I'm going to put it in 50s. Okay, more of the same. Now, I included these. These are from Mrs. Cox Crafts. These are first ladies and influential women. So I'm going to put the wives of the, like, Hoover and wives of the presidents in the 30s, 40s, 50s. Eleanor Roosevelt, Hoover. Oh, there's two of Hoover. Oh, yeah, Mrs. Herbert Hoover. Her and her. Graham Bell, that would have been way earlier. Helen Keller, oh my God, I don't think I respect anybody more than Helen Keller in the world of women. Just an amazing woman. She's got the best quotes in the world, and she could never hear or see. Just a brilliant mind, and we just need to appreciate that people are not their disabilities. So I'm going to include her somehow because I respect her so much. These are from, Emily Bloom. And I love that woman riding her bike, although I think that's earlier. And they're like having, to me, like an argument on the beach. And she's walking away and she's calling after her. I love this. I've used it a lot, but I really love it. I feel like she's meditative, thinking something through. And I love this car she's sitting on at the beach. So that's 40s to me. This guy with his flowers. What a cutie. Some mother's proud. I think I showed you these. These are a freebie from 49 Dragonflies. And they're 40s women or 20s, I think she said. But they're 40s to me. And then this is from the Everlasting Journals. I showed these to you before, I think. But it's her wallpapers that I'm using for this kit. And these are just the cutest little animal pictures. And this lady with the goose. They're just great. The little kitty dressed up to push the baby. I love these. They're so 50s, 40s, right in there. And these are Ruby and Pearl. Their heads are cut off. Too bad, because these would be so good. But love this, although that's older. You know what? Those are their legs. I think those are their legs. They're not wearing slips. Wow. That's so interesting to me. I thought slips were always worn until, like, I don't know, this decade. Interesting. Anyway, she would fit. Yeah, these heads are cut off. I'll have to look. Love this. Love, love, love. And this is very 40s too. So I'll use these. And then Wake Up America, please. And then, again, I think these are Graphics Fairy. This woman in her 20s outfit. And this bride, I think, is so beautiful. But I think she's older. So, I'll see. So that's it, you guys. We have moved along to the point where next week I am going to be starting the 1920s. 1920s, and I intend to use these things, keep them visible. A lot of the stuff I picked out when we weren't together, and some of it I want to fold up or use as in a pocket. There's more pictures that I saved. I showed you these before. Some of the bags I saved. Some more of the stuff I've saved. More bank envelopes. Old Santa Barbara picture. So I think these you saw. So just try. I'm going to start next time we meet. I'm going to build up some pages. And if I can just make the pages with a lot of the items, then that will be the way I begin. And then sort of fill in from there. But I want the pages to look like digitals might, that we're trying to show, an era or a time and space kind of thing. That's really what I want to do. And then after that, then I'll know what things I want to kind of put on top, like photos. There might be photos in the background, but extra photos, almost like making pages of masterboards in a way, but thoughtful and trying to show everything to its best and that kind of thing. But that's kind of what it's going to be now that I think about it. So thank you so much for joining me today, and for hopefully for parts 1 and 2 as well. I am happy to answer any questions you have. I hope you're picking out stuff if you want to join in, and hopefully I've covered all the categories. Of course, I have tons of buttons and charms and a lot of other things that might come into play, but they would be, the 3rd layer, 4th layer kind of thing. Like I've got this one thing right here, which is buttons that I sewed on to a Levi tag and used a couple of double pins to make the holder, and I just wanted to get all shades of brown, and that's just so 40s to me. It's very military, and so I'd love to use this. Maybe it would be a charm hanging on the outside, but I love it. So I'm going to put that there. And here's another one I made. Around the world, some sort of a tag. Covered it up with washi, and used vellum to sew the buttons on. They're all shiny, so that could be 50s. Yeah, so I want to make ephemera. The pages are the start, but I want to make ephemera that will be on there somehow. All right? So again, thanks a bunch, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.